consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize. Hello, my loves. Welcome to this powerful, juicy episode today. We are going to be speaking about understanding the twin flame energy. I know that this is such a vast topic. It can be really confusing, and a lot of emotions come into this topic. And so I'm really excited to dive in deeper today with my special guest and my soul sister, my shamanic soul sister, Jordan Ashley. Before I go further into that, I'd love to have you shout this podcast out on social media. On Instagram, it's Bold Sexy Warrior. And on Facebook, it's Rosalind Fung Coaching Bold Sexy Warrior. Oh my gosh, my loves, it is almost the end of 2021. And my invitation for you is to really step in with full-on purpose to your next level in your life and your business for 2022. It's like if the dream is in you, it's for you. And I want to invite you to consider stepping into working with me in my year-long group coaching mastermind hybrid program called Soul Ascension Business Catalyst Container, where we are really going to dive in deep with messaging, marketing, magnetizing, and monetizing on your calling. This is going to be me bringing on my next level as I've been really reshifting, recalibrating myself this past year and bringing in the alchemy of Akasha, soul, energy, mindset, belief repatterning, and of course, the strategies to help you with your messaging, marketing, magnetizing, and monetizing. So if you're feeling called to lean in more, I really want to invite you to hop on or go fill out an application form. It will be in the show notes, or you can go to www.electrifymybusiness.com and fill out the application form there. And from there, if it's aligned, we'll hop on a discovery call because I want to make sure that I'm not wasting your time and energy. And we want to make sure it's a really good fit and that I'm confident in getting you the results that you desire. It's a co-creation, my loves. So I can't wait to receive those, and we start January. All right, without further ado, let's shift into our episode here. Episode number 80 already. And again, this is all about understanding twin flame energy. We're going to jam about what the difference between twin flame and soulmate is. How do you know if someone is your twin flame? What are some common aspects about twin flame energy? What's the shadow side of it? And how do you best develop a healthy relationship with your twin flame? I will also be sharing some of my experiences with twin flame energy, both in life and business. And yeah, it's going to get really juicy. We're going to get very personal. It'll be my first time sharing so publicly about this. And I have no other than my amazing soul sister, Jordan Ashley here, who is a modern day intuitive shaman, who is gifted with clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance. After experiencing a dark night of the soul, intense spiritual awakening in 2020, Jordan has devoted herself to mastering her craft in order to use it to help others, especially women, gain clarity and guidance in the most genuine and loving way. She uses tarot to clarify the message she receives from her guides and to further explain the information her guides are conveying to her. Welcome, my love.
Hi, Rosalind. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. We need to tell people how we met because this feels really like full circle, right? Like
This is my first podcast episode ever, so I'm incredibly excited. And yeah, you should tell them how we met because you explain it better than
okay. Yeah, we will share our story and just how this like really came about. And honestly, I think it was like just over a year ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like just over a year ago. And who knew that here we are today? So Dan and I were on a date night. It was a Friday night. And I remember we were having a good time, connecting with each other. And then I saw this beautiful woman, this like gorgeous woman sitting at the bar in front of me. We were at a local restaurant, so Dan and I were sitting more at a table. And this beautiful woman was directly in front of me. She was facing me, and she was talking to her beautiful friend. And it was so interesting because I was just like, I have no idea why, but I feel very attracted energetically to this woman. And she was her energy was just beautiful. She seemed so down to earth. Like I was just watching her. And I'm not normally a creeper like this, but I was just like, man, this woman is just freaking gorgeous, like on the outside, but something about her energy. And so I even told my husband, I'm like, I don't know what it is about this woman, but she's just something about her. And then interestingly enough, that night I had a friend, a male friend who I feel like for whatever reason, we definitely are soul friends, potentially twin flames. And interestingly enough, he walks into the restaurant with his brother and another couple. And of course, they were seated right beside our table. And so it was just a very interesting synchronicity. They only stayed for like 5 minutes because they were actually at another restaurant, just came in for drinks. And I didn't find that out till later. And so that was interesting. Anyways, fast forward a week later. I'm in my very, very first class of shamanism. And we start the class by drumming. So we all are holding drums. There's a big, huge, beautiful drum in the center of the room. And 4 of us are seated at the drum because that's how big it is. And we're sitting at the 4 corners. And we're drumming. And I'm like, sort of like look up. And I had already introduced myself to the woman sitting across from me. This beautiful woman wearing these bold glasses. And I kept staring at her as we were drumming. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the woman from the restaurant from last Friday that I was so energetically attracted to. And after we were done our drumming, I went up to you, Jordan, and I'm like, I think you were at the restaurant last Friday. Was that you? And immediately we're like, yes, I was just like, what are the chances? What are the chances? And this is the pure magic. It already happened that we energetically on a soul level felt each other.
Already. And
oh my God.
The thing was that I had signed up for shamanic class that day, like the last day I could. I was in meditation. And I saw an image that said Google shamanism. So I went to Google and I put it in, and there was a class that started that night. And I registered and I just randomly showed up there. And then there you were. It was incredible.
Right. Yeah. And because you noticed me at the restaurant too.
I did. I noticed you, your energy. There was something about you, just the way that you held yourself. And then I remember we kept glancing into each other's eyes, and then I'd look away because I was like, what is it? I didn't understand the connection, the energy that we had. It was just
Right. I was like, I've never felt this way before about a woman. Just like, I appreciate women. I think women are gorgeous. I think, they're
me
very
too. Yep.
sensual beings. And I love the woman form. And I was just like, this is interesting because I haven't felt like this about like this intensity about a woman. It wasn't romantic, but it was something. And now we know what that was. It's like we were meant to meet because we recognized each other. We started remembering each other on a soul
and I'm
level.
so grateful because since I met you, so much has changed, and you helped. Yeah. It was very beautiful.
Was so interesting because we became really fast friends. Even that night, we were doing an exercise where we had to stare into each other's eyes to look into our souls, and we were partnered up, and it was just like we remembered each other. So
definitely from past life.
Oh my gosh, Jordan, it's just like incredible. And then I remember we were driving to somewhere for like a shamanic, maybe it was a tour
The
sweat.
drumming circle. I think it was the drumming circle at Karen's house in the lodge.
That's right. And you were asking me because we're just getting to know each other. I know this sounds really weird, but have you ever heard of twin flames? I'm like, girl. And I started laughing because I was just like so woo. I'm like, yeah, we're speaking my language. Like, let's chat. What's happening? Oh my gosh. So that's the story of how Jordan and I met. And Jordan, I'd love for you to share how you got to be who you are, and just you had such a huge awakening last year. I mean, this is really fresh for you, and here you are really serving and supporting other women to gain clarity and guidance.
Mm-hmm. Well, Roz, what happened was about almost 2 years ago, it all started when I was driving to see a gentleman I met on Tinder in Lloydminster. This was not the twin flame guy. This was a completely different guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going through, after my divorce, I was going through the stage where I was with someone for 10 years, and then I got out, and I kind of wanted to be single and, see what was out there. So I was having my time. And so I was driving out to Lloydminster to see a gentleman, and I looked at my phone, and I had a friend, a guy who I've never met. We were friends for a while, but we've never met. And he lives in Edmonton as well. And I saw that he posted something on Instagram that his dad had passed away that night, who was battling cancer for a while. And I looked at my phone, and I instantly felt in my soul that I had to turn my car around and go find him and be with him at the hospital, even though I didn't really know him. And then 5 minutes later, after I was driving down the highway, like right after I saw his post, I hit black ice. I was going 130 kilometers an hour in my car, and every nerve in my body, it felt like I was ripped out of my body. It's still really intense because this is when it was my first near-death experience, and I felt myself come out of my body, and my car felt like it was picked back up and put on the road, and I was ripped back into my body like a rubber band. But while I was outside of my body, I seen flashes of my life with this gentleman whose dad had just passed away. And I saw me marrying him, I saw children, I saw my entire life, and I couldn't breathe. So I continued to drive down the road. I finally got to Lloydminster, and I was hanging out with this guy. We got a hotel room. We were, we had slept together. It was the guy I had seen in my friend in the car that I saw my future with. He was the last thing on the back of my mind. I wasn't thinking of him until the middle of that night, around 2 a.m. I was stuck. I've never been in a sleep paralysis of my life before. And I felt like I was drowning, and my whole body turned to gold. And I had a dream with him and his dad. And then all of a sudden I shot up out of my bed, and now he was the only thing I could think about. And the guy next to me was trying to calm me down. And I remember wanting to cry because I didn't know why I was sitting in a room with this guy when I should be with this other person. It was like in that moment I was outside of my body. I had such an instant recognition of where the direction of my life was going, so much so that the next day I said goodbye to this guy. I drove back to Edmonton. By the time I got back to Edmonton, I had messaged him. We were talking again. He went to Hawaii. by the time he got back from Hawaii, he had blocked me on Instagram. And I had seen a picture of him posting, and it was a picture of his eyes. So I primarily work with eyes, like the night when we were in shamanic class and staring into your eyes. So when I saw a picture of his eyes, and you can tell he was sad, and it was like an instant recognition I seen in the picture, again, that I had taken me back to that night where I had seen our future. Only now I was blocked. He wouldn't talk to me. And then about a month later, I had a psychotic break, which is known as a Shamanic Awakening. And I was taken to the psychiatric hospital for 2 weeks because I couldn't stop hearing this man's voice in my head. It was not like anything I've ever experienced in my life before. This is where I don't want to say completely normal, because I was just a different person. And then these 2 near-death experiences where I started channeling, like as if I had an energy in my body that wasn't me. And then I would hear him tell me how much he loves me, how much he cares for me, but it wasn't him. It was like his highest self. So then that's when I Googled, what is a twin flame? I went down this rabbit hole it's been 2 years. I mean, I've been coming out the other side now, about the past 6 months. I found my self-worth, and that's what I find, and that's where I feel like I'm an advocate now for other women that are on this journey with a twin flame. It's all about them mirroring back to you, because through my research and what I've realized with my life is a twin flame, as you guys are 2 halves of the same whole in the body. So your consciousness is split, and half of your consciousness is with you and half of the consciousness is with the other person. And then when you guys come together, you mirror parts of yourself that you have to change. It's not even having to change. It's just they reflect parts of you that you can finally see in yourself. It's like the shadow self of you. They illuminate your darkness, and then you recognize that within yourself because you see it within them. So, yeah, it's been an incredible experience.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing that. And it's been amazing and to be a witness to your powerful process. You were right away very open with me about, because we had met like shortly after you had your hospitalization.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me about your story.
Yeah, and I remember asking you, like, that's why I had met you that night, is like, do you know what a twin flame is? Because I couldn't understand it. Nobody else in my life understood what was going on with me. And that was the only thing, is I went to Google and I figured out, what is this? And then that brought me into a whole community. And then I would be like obsessed with tarot readings. And I got so obsessed to the point where, how could I have these such experiences? And then I found out he was in a relationship. And it was just triggering for me. So everything like that I went through, he would trigger me, and I would see that within myself. And then I had such hatred, because it felt like, why was I experiencing this? And then this whole experience, though, brought me to become a medium, because right after, about 2 weeks after his dad passed away, that was the first soul that came to me from the other side. So it felt like he was moving on with his life, blocking me. He was in a relationship, wanted nothing to do with me. And here I was sitting, what felt like hell, in the psychiatric hospital, talking to his dad, and nobody understood what was happening to me. So I remember reaching out. So that's when I joined shamanism. And then I found out I'm not the only one that has connections like these.
This is so powerful. Let's even unpack that a little bit. So, let's start with, because I know as people are listening, there's probably a lot of people who are just hearing about twin flame, or they've been feeling twin flame energy, but they haven't been able to really get clarity about what it is, and they know they have all these feelings. So can we talk about your definition of twin flame and how that's different from soulmate energy?
Sure, yeah. So for me, everybody has a twin flame. When I work with clients, and primarily myself or my spirit guides, I'm half in this world and I'm half in another world. So that's how I'm able to be a medium and channel. And my guides have said that every single person on this earth, because we live in a dualistic society, has a twin flame. The fact is that if they're reincarnated in this time, or if they're sitting on the other side with you. But through this mass awakening, shifting from the 3D planet to the 5D planet, twin flames are reincarnating here by the waves in order to help raise love and vibrations on this planet by coming together. So the twin flame, the thing is with the twin flames and the soulmates is they're both instant recognition. But with a twin flame, a lot of the time you'll experience a Kundalini awakening. You'll experience, it's called your heart chakra, your gate portal. That will be opening up. You'll experience an intense awakening. And it's just this, it's not even like an obsession. Well, it is an obsession because they are you in another body. That is you being reflected back to you in another body. And you guys are two separate souls and you're linked. But the soulmate is like an easier type of love. A soulmate comes in when it's your best friend. It's the person you never want to hurt. It's just so easy. A twin flame is not easy. It is you two trying to balance out your energies. But what I talk about a lot of the time is everyone has their inner feminine and their own inner masculine inside of them. So your inner feminine is your soul and your inner masculine is your ego, your action. So what I've been explained by through my spirit guides is if you want union, a lot of the time you'll meet your twin flame. You guys will have this like this out of the, you don't understand how we know each other. You just both feel the love. You both are like, oh my God. And then it's so much that one person will run away, usually called the runner-chaser dynamic. That person will run, and then the other person will feel hurt, left. They don't understand what they did. And then they start to feel obsessive, or they get this energy where they have to go fix it. They have to be with that person. But that is when God, consciousness, universe, whatever you go with, they come in, they clear this out, they pull this person away from you, so then you turn inward and connect to that energy. Because with twin flames, it's a higher self connection. It's a higher soul connection. They're here to advance you and spiritually help you. So a lot of the time, twin flame, I don't want to say they can't be together. It's just there's so much trauma, junk, everything that needs to get out of the way of the limiting beliefs. And a lot, like for me, I know this is a little, but I felt when he blocked me and started dating somebody else, I felt like I was cheated on. I felt like so hurt to the point where it's been over. I mean, I've started to, about the last 6 months, I've been bringing love in. Whenever I hear him in my head or see him or anything, I bring love into the situation and I give him love because we share the same energetic cord. We share the same attraction, the same soul. But so before I would hate him. So in my mind, I would want him. I'd want him to reach out to me. But in my the energy behind me wanting it would be hatred, because I felt like, how couldn't he choose me? How couldn't he recognize me? How could he leave me? And that pain, I remember the day he blocked me the first time, I energetically wanted to blow myself up. I was on the ground crying, shaking. And I was married for 10 years. So it wasn't like it was an obsession. Like I was in a relationship with someone else for 10 years and I never once felt this way. But it was the moment that I seen his eyes, how I connect and how I channel my tarot readings or with pictures, or I just meet people's eyes. And it was in that moment when my soul was so low, my self-worth was so low, that's when I recognized who he was through connecting with that photo. And I was so upset because it was like, how could I have seen our future, us married, all of this, and him not recognize that connection? Why would spirit do this to me? And then I had such anger. So it's been a little bit of a journey.
just a little bit, just a little bit messy. But I think that's another sign, right? That when you have a relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship with someone in a twin flame energy, you are going to feel that major push and pull. And I think you described that really beautifully. It's that we call it in psychology terms pursuer distancer pattern. And, I personally have recognized this within a male friend of mine who absolutely, I don't know for sure if this person's my twin flame, but based on, just doing the research, and I, of course, work with you as your client with the tarot readings, it's very interesting what comes up, and the signs do point to potentially, yes, this is a strong twin flame. I've had a psychic confirm it. So it's just very interesting because there's so many synchronicities, like literally physically bumping into each other, like outside of the
Oh
city
my God.
even,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And
I have a story to add to that. Okay. So I was looking for a house to move this year. I'm still blocked. So I was looking for a place. This was in June, and I found a place that had a picture of a dog, a German Shepherd, and I was like, oh my God, maybe they'll let me have my Siberian Husky, because everybody that I was looking to rent a house was denying me because of my dog. So I messaged this house, or this townhouse, and I was like, hey, he messaged back, and it was him. It was his house. Out of all the people in Edmonton, it was this guy. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I was just like, oh my gosh, what are the chances
when you
of
told me that.
And then I went on a date.
That's what it is. You keep finding
Yeah,
each other, right?
you do.
And I
You do.
know I have some friends who share like that twin flame, and you work with so many women who are happily married
Oh, yes.
and
Yeah.
just like me, and have a twin flame connection outside, like with somebody else outside of their marriage. And
Definitely. Yeah.
it's like sometimes that's like so intense, they actually have to be not in each other's lives to really honor the boundaries of their relationship, their marriage.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting to hear about these stories where you even were sharing, and I'd love for you to go into further detail with that, but like how even years after not having spoken to their twin flame, they're still thinking about them.
Well,
And
the energy just gets stronger over time.
even without the physical
Yep. It's a
connection.
spiritual connection. That's where I've been trying to help women, because they'll be sitting for years and they think, if only I could do this, if I could be prettier, if I could be more successful, if I can, and it's nothing about what you do. It's just, if you can focus all the attention on yourself, take them off of the pedestal, see yourself as that person, because you and your twin flame, you guys will always find a way back to each other. And I've seen this with my clients. Like, it doesn't matter if it's weeks, months, years, or decades. Like, I probably have about 10 women that have reached out and they're married. Like, I had this one today, I did a reading, and she's been thinking of him for the past 11 years, even though they're both in relationships, but she can't break that connection because you'll never be able to. I mean, I have been to SRT sessions. I've tried cutting the cord. I have tried every single thing. I tried running away. I tried sleeping my way with random men to get over this connect. The first thing I did after him blocking me the first time is I ran to see this guy, and I didn't even like him, but I thought if I could sleep with him, I'd be over this connection, because that was my coping mechanism. I mean, it was not the best one, but that's what I thought in my mind. If I could just get under somebody else, I'd be able to get over him. And it hasn't been that. It's even been harder. Like, I went on a date this summer, and this guy showed up, and he was his friend. I didn't know that. They're both firefighters. And I'm sitting there, and I was like, are you kidding me? I remember I was drinking, and he had me unblocked, and I messaged him saying, like, can you just leave me, like, get out of my head? Like, can you just stop ruining my life? Because it felt like everywhere I would turn, there he would be. And I was like, I could not get out of the connection. And it's just been like, it's just nice to know that I'm not the only woman feeling like this.
Yes, there's still soul ties, right? Even with
Yeah.
my friend who may be my twin flame, same thing. Like, we have all these interesting, 6 degrees of separation, but we haven't even met until a few years ago. And
Yep.
it's just very interesting to find out how many people we know, and just the interesting connections that are like divinely orchestrated to keep you in each other's lives energetically, even though you're
Right?
not physically talking, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's fascinating to me that it's almost like it's hard to explain away these things on a logical 3D level, that we do need
Oh,
to
you
look at
can't.
it from a 5D level and be like, look,
Yeah.
this is, we are souls having human being experience. I have a story actually of a girlfriend who she has the most magical story about twin flames. So I'm going to share like the the healthy side of being with your twin flame romantically. It's like when you can be together because you're both available. This is what it can look like is, I think, as long as each person has ascended, has done tons of work on themselves, they're very, very solid in their own power. When they meet and then they come together, that's when so much flow can happen. It's like,
I believe it.
The telepathy, the communication around that. It's like, I mean, it's there anyway in the shadow aspects, you know, in the fight and conflicts, but in a healthier dynamic, because each individual is very healthy and loves themselves deeply. It's so much easier because there isn't any deeper shit to work through because you've worked through that deeper shit. So when you look at each other, you're looking at each other with complete love and you're not triggered because everything is neutral until you put meaning to it, right? And
definitely.
And it's so
well, they just inspire you to be a better person. That's what it comes down to, is they inspire you to, like, you move out of your own way. You cut out, like, for me, I had a problem with alcohol. I loved drinking. I stopped drinking alcohol. Like, I've shifted my life. And it was like that moment that he didn't choose me, I finally chose myself. Like, I'm celibate now. I've tried dating, but there's just not really a point for me to go out because the connection I feel with him is so strong, to the point where I was sitting in my room meditating and I heard unblock me. So, because I had him on block recently. So I did. And then I went back on 10 minutes later and I was like, no, I have to block him. And I was already blocked. And so he didn't get a notification that I was blocked or that he was unblocked. It was within 10 minutes of me unblocking him. He already had went on there and blocked me. So I don't know, the telepathy, and I have other clients that they even say when they're sitting with them, they don't even need to communicate. It's just like the telepathy is another level. You guys know what you're talking about. You experience the same feelings. So yeah, the number one thing I have found with this connection is I have shifted my life 360 degrees to the point where I am unrecognizable. And if we had come together at that time, I was toxic. Every time I would run away. I realized I was not just necessarily the chaser. Whenever I was triggered, I would block him or I would run away because the connection itself is so strong. It's intense.
Wow.
And that's how you'll know.
Jordan, we're going to have to take a break. I know that this is so juicy. There's so much more to jam about. But as we're on a break, listeners, I want you to just feel into the relationships you have right now and see if any of this is really resonating with you when it comes to twin flame energy.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
My loves, you know you're here as a soul-led leader to transform this world through the sharing of your passions and gifts. You are here to be in your warrior of light and align your business with your highest self. I'm Rosalind Fung of the show Activate Your Soulgasmic Business. Let's elevate your business to the next expansive level. I invite you to flow into a business soul alignment discovery call with me at rosalindfung.com. That's ROSALYN, fun as in have some fun, FUNG, and let's see how I can best hold space for you to align your highest self, magnetize your dream clients, and monetize on your soul mission. I can't wait to connect.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like your emotions are all over the place? That's normal during this abnormal time. There are a number of ways to cope. Maintain a healthy routine, get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise at least 30 minutes each day. Schedule some time to talk with a friend or family member. And remember, you can always take a few deep breaths to feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
All right, welcome back, my loves. I know this is such a juicy episode, so today we only have one commercial. We're just like, let's keep jamming because this is fire. And I know so many people need to hear this because it really deeply affects so many of us energetically when we have this person in our life and it feels like so much drama sometimes, right? And I'm going to share a little bit more about how I have dealt with my twin flame, who is not, once again, my husband. And of course, I'm sharing this very openly because that's the type of person I am. And I know that as I share, it will hopefully give you some insight, shed some light, really take away any sense of shame. Because first of all, remember, we live in a freaking 3D society. But we also, those of us who have been doing this more spiritual work and ascending, there's like we're souls having a human being experience. And from a perspective, we have soul contracts with people. And from this place, it's about being very open and very fluid in your relationships. And being very transparent, having healthy boundaries. All these things are not easy, okay? And they are part of our soul lessons to master. So with regards to me personally, my husband and I are a power couple. You guys, if you haven't listened to our other episodes here on my podcast, you can just look for all the episodes titled Pleasure in the Bedroom and Bank. Dan and I have a very solid foundation. We both do our inner work. He supports me very dearly, and he knows I'm very fluid in my relationships, and things are always transparent. So he knows about this friendship I have with this other man who I have a twin flame connection with. And it's been a very interesting journey, and this man has been one of the greatest teachers I've ever had in my life. And I know that I came into his life to also be a teacher to help him open up and be elevated into a new version of himself through our friendship. And he has come into my life because there is nobody that triggers me quite like him and maybe some of my family members. And going into my Akashic records, I'm an Akashic record reader, and I've gone into mine, and I can see that we've had a lot of past lives together romantically, but also not romantically, just more as close. Like I was an elder once and he was in the tribe. So we've had a lot of crazy past lives together, lots of forbidden love, things like that. And so he's not woo. He's very much like my husband. In fact, in one lifetime, he was my husband's twin brother. And in this lifetime, they're both Gemini. So it's very interesting. And he's a beautiful man, very beautiful, but also not very woke. So his way of showing up in the world really triggered me in my own woundings. And because I take radical personal and spiritual accountability, rather than make drama out of it. And I hope this helps you as you listeners, as you're tuning in. Look at yourself and go, because everything is neutral until you put meaning to it. And how we do that is based on our belief systems. And look at it from that perspective. Like, what about this situation? What about this person is triggering me right now? What does this remind me of? It could be from childhood, right? From a psychological perspective. Then look at it from a soul level. Like, what am I here to master? What is this person teaching me? And it's I say that when you are, we'll say, entering and being in this mindset when it comes to twin flame relationships, whether it's a friendship or even in business. Business partners can be twin flames. I've probably had one for sure. And also just really looking at it for yourself. Like, what is this? And when you can do that, each person in the twin flame energy can do that. So much power can happen in that you are elevating together. So that's, I hope that as you're tuning into this, you can see how you can navigate through twin flame energy. The other thing that I have done personally, because I'm a Akashic record reader, is I do this, Jordan, this is where you and I can like collaborate. I do clearings. So I've actually gone into the records of my twin flame and mine, and cleared our contract so that we could be energetically more balanced in this lifetime, and really honor our boundaries as friends, and release whatever tension there may be there. And it's been very powerful. And then it's something that I do actually need to do regularly, because that energy is very potent and strong. And so it's like really honoring that. Jordan, I'd love for you to share, because you have such a unique way in how you read. Like you talks about how you look into your own eyes. Can you describe that process a little bit?
Yeah. So what happened was, I didn't know this. So I grew up, my mom always read tarot. My grandma read tarot. My grandma reads tea leaves. We come from a long line of witches, you could say. And I never really knew until I was sitting in my old former house. I used to have a little thing called a nook where I would sit and I would stare into this window, and I'd have a little candle. And all of a sudden one day I was staring into the window and I saw these 3 Native American men reflected back to me. And I was like, what is happening? So how I channel is I use a mirror, or I will use some type of reflective surface, or I have to do my readings where they're pre-recorded, so I stare into my own eye. Usually my left eye will stare into my right eye. Again, right hemisphere and left hemisphere. And so when I channel, when I'm staring into my own eye, that's when I hear. So I'll hear like exactly what I need to hear, and then I deliver that message. I also, with staring into my own eye, I also see images. So I connect with tarot. I read strictly intuitive. I mean, I've grown up with them, so I understand exactly what each card means, but I don't follow like a spread. For me, how the cards fall, the way that the cards connect with the way that one card is looking at the next card, it's just strictly the way for me, that's how Spirit wanted me to see that card. And then I research that card, and then I'll stop and I'll listen, or I'll connect to my eyes on camera. Same with TikTok. For me, it's how they've explained it to me is it's the third eye reflected back to you externally. So even with my phone, or like, I've tried reading, like I do reading people sometimes in person, but it's not the same. I do mediumship. So if someone needs to connect with a past loved one, I do mediumship in person. They come through, but for tarot readings, I need to look directly into my eyes. So that's how I read. It's been very unique. I haven't really found someone else like me.
Because that's alchemy of you. That's your guess, my love.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love the way you read. It's very cool, and you take pictures, and because you actually film on Zoom on your own without your client there present. You have all the questions, and then you send out the email with all the cards, and it's so pretty. It looks like art. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Thank you.
They're like, they're not, organized. They're just, it's like art. I don't like a collage. It's so beautiful. Like, it's powerful, just energetically receiving it. And then your reading is just incredibly accurate I mean, you recently did one for me, and you didn't know I did a boudoir branding shoot,
Nope.
which the pictures were just released yesterday.
It
And
looks
I love
amazing.
it so much. But you channel that. You were just like, oh, I see you like Wonder Woman.
I
There's
did
like,
channel that. Yeah,
this
I
Amazon woman.
yeah, I just knew it right away by looking into my eye. I just heard boudoir. I heard it's going to be successful. I saw pictures of you. So my spirit, yeah, I never had any of these abilities until my near-death experience, though. I wasn't woo. I didn't grow up with religion. I didn't grow up with anything. I didn't believe in spirituality. I thought it was, or energy healing. I thought people were woo-woo. I didn't get it. And then I had my near-death experience and everything else shifted. And now the spirit world is more real to me than the physical 3D world.
Wow. It's so powerful. How can people get a hold of you if they want to have a reading from you? What's the best way, love?
Oh, so my readings are on Etsy. My name is Jordan Ashley Medium, or you guys can reach out to me. I work primarily on TikTok. So my TikTok is Jordan Ashley 17 _, or you can get a hold of me through my email at jackconcepts17@gmail.com.
And that'll all be in the show notes of this episode as well. Okay, beautiful. And Jordan, I just want to say I want to acknowledge you, and I love you, and I love who you have become, and that you've really stepped into your power to support other women to get clarity, to gain that confidence, to have some direction in their life. Like, it's pretty potent. With you being able to confirm things that often we feel, and then it's confirmed, right? Because our ego mind can be like, is that really like what I'm feeling? Am I making this shit up?
Exactly. And that's where like my thing is like, that's where I feel like my gift and my ability, because I spent a year and a half, I remember even being in shaman class, and all you guys are like spiritual business coaches. And my biggest thing is, how do you believe? Like, how is this real? How do I trust my intuition? Am I making this up? And that is like that, just that part is difficult, because it's like, I don't know, it's just questioning something that you can't see. But Spirit has shown me so many times, if I just sit back and trust God, trust that everything is going to be okay, and stop trying to manipulate the situation, and just be with ease and joy and love and my soul, then things just come to me. Like, I don't even know how it's possible. And that's why I want to spend the rest of my life figuring out what it is. Because that's my ego, though. In my mind, I'm trying to put it into a box. But yeah. It's just life changing. And I'm like, for me, even if I don't ever reach union with my quote unquote twin flame, I don't necessarily need that anymore, because I found that within myself. And I realized a lot of the time the feminine, the inner feminine, the divine feminine is the one that feels that. And then you kind of, I call it glow up. You change your life. You find your self-worth, your self-love. All of that is in yourself, because it's inner union. And then that shifts that so much. When you find that within yourself, they'll go up and ascend. They'll get spiritual. It'll trigger them. And then a lot of the times, though, you're okay when they come back, because it's like you don't even necessarily want them anymore, because you've done the healing work where it's not like a need or an obsession. It's just, I see you, I recognize you. And the biggest thing I've learned with twin flames is they are you in another body. So trying to manipulate them, trying to make them feel something, that's just you trying to do that towards yourself. So if you take yourself and put all the energy and intention in you, and like my number one affirmation lately is I just say, I am uniquely me, and the world would be fucked without me. And I just keep telling myself that. And it's just been healing, because if you focus on, why aren't they talking to me? Why are they with someone else? Why don't, you're going to be manifesting that. That's going to be you manifesting that same cycle for the next 50 years. Yes. It'll be like that obsession. So if you can take that energy. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're staying victim. You're staying victim to the circumstance.
Definitely.
Because we have sovereignty, and sovereignty starts with radical personal and spiritual accountability. How am I co-creating this? What is a lesson in here for me to really break through? What is it that I am here to learn, and so that I can ascend. That's really how I see it, is twin flames are mirrors, right? And they're the
Definitely.
shit that's being triggered is there to be surfaced so that we can look at it and lean into the triggers and deal with it, and so that we can release ourselves from whatever victim story we're stuck in.
Oh, definitely. I remember I didn't understand before, but halfway through it, I was like, wow, I had low self-worth. Like, I was attracted to people that didn't want me, because it goes back to my childhood being adopted with my dad. He didn't want to be in my life. So it's like I would always attract men that, like, I would have amazing men that would want to be with me, but I didn't want them. I wanted the men that didn't want me. And then I had to sit and really dig into my shadow side and be like, why do I have low self-worth? Why am I feeling unlovable? Why do I feel like I am unlovable? And he highlighted and showed me all of that. So they're definitely a mirror that's reflected back to you. But it's triggering. It is not a roller coaster. I would recommend.
Tough relationship, absolutely. So there's a lot of like inner child stuff on a psychological level, and then there is soul karmic stuff. Like, even when I do Akashic record readings, like, I can see past lives of people's soulmates, twin flames, like all that energy. And so I just love, Jordan, how we complement each other. Like, you are able to help people see that, confirm their feelings, give some guidance and direction. And where I may come in and serve and support is I actually have the gift, which isn't common for Akashic record readers, is of being able to clear anything that isn't serving, supporting with light language, and amplify those aspects of higher calibration with light language. So speaking of which, we're going to shift here and close with a light language meditation. And based on our conversation today, I really feel called to do a clearing for each and every one of you. Those of you who are struggling in twin flame energy with a relationship right now. So I invite you to just take a breath in and then clearing out. Exhaling, relaxing your body. Every moment you relax more and more and more and more. Dropping, dropping, dropping. Breathing in from your root, all the way up your core, all the way past your crown chakra. Letting your breath move into the cosmos. Suspending it. And then dropping, exhaling. And I just invite you to see your twin flame in front of you right now. I invite you to look into their eyes. I invite you to notice the triggering feelings you have with your twin flame, if any. Just breathing into them, taking your breath in, and then letting your breath soften these triggers. Let's set the intention of clearing these triggering feelings. So here we go, breathing in. Mora kira kura tia nana kia tia kia mara tia mora kura tia kura tia. Mora kia tia nana kia mara kia nana kura tia tia. Clearing, 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 clearing. Kuratia and number kuratia, rakia, murakurati, murakurati, rakia, ratia, murakurati. Serakuamana nenetia, murakurati, kira tua, marakia, tia. Clearing, canceling, deleting any tension. Murakurati, nerakia, murakurati. Breathing in and out. Just hanging out with the sensations. You might notice a little bit of lightheadedness. You might notice lightness in your heart, maybe some pulsating. I'm just going to come in with some heart medicine. So I invite you to just breathe into your heart right now, seeing a white light come through from the top of your head, from divine, filling you up, healing you. Filling you up with so much unconditional love. And radiating like a Care Bear, this love energy, this white light energy to your twin flame. So it's radiating, circulating between both of you. You are one. You're the same soul in two different bodies. So loving all parts of yourself, even the parts that are dark, the shadow aspects, leading into this as your medicine. Thank you. Breathing in and releasing. Just notice how you feel. Notice the sensations. And it's just staying with what feels light, what feels solid. Feel into your own self-love. Thank you so much, my loves. Thank you so much, Jordan, for being here.
Thank you. Yes, this was
Yamming
beautiful.
with me on this very, very juicy topic. And
There's just the last thing I want to say, though, is that nobody, no reader, nobody will tell you it's your twin flame. That is something that your heart will know. That is the only way. Your heart will know. Trust.
Thank you, my love. Trust.
Thanks, Roz.
Do stay connected with us. Go and connect with Jordan, my loves. And if you want a reading from either of us, connect with us on our platforms. We would love to hear your feedback as well. Do write a review on Apple iTunes. Thank you.